So I would write notes with useful information like, the peanut butter is in the cupboard with the broken handle. Hammy likes to have sunflower seeds for breakfast. We need more tiddlywinks because I ate them to see if they tasted like Smarties. Tiddlywinks do not taste like Smarties. Bad news. One day I arrived at nursery late. All the other children were there. My favourite place on the rug was taken, the one where you could hold a crayon against the radiator and watch while it melted. As I unzipped my anorak, I realised that everyone in the room was singing "We're Going to the Zoo." This sent me into total panic. I absolutely, on no account, wanted to go to the zoo with other children. Not now. I'd had no warning. I wasn't prepared. I had the wrong socks on. Also, since when did people deliver horrific news in the form of a song? It seemed inappropriate. Could I run? Could I hide? I sipped my anorak back up and considered barricading myself in the Wendy house. As I crawled, sniper style, towards a plastic door, the children started singing Jack and Jill went up the hill. Now there's a song. Short, succinct, and with a clear health and safety message. Why on earth were these people in favour of going to the zoo when a mere trip up a hill caused one child to break his head and another to suffer from numerous undisclosed injuries? Luckily, after a quick burst of Humpty Dumpty, who, let's remember, died from sitting on a wall, they wandered outside to play in the sandpit. They must have changed their minds about going to the zoo. Disaster averted. Good news. I hated milk. One morning at nursery, the teacher told me I couldn't play with the other children until I had drunk my milk. Sometimes everything goes right. I didn't want to play with the other children, and I didn't want to drink my milk. I sat inside on the floor the whole day. That was a good day. The patriarchy. We had a goldfish, a cat, a hamster, and a tortoise, who hibernated all year round, so on reflection was probably dead. But none of them would let me dress them up in my Snoopy's outfits or have tea parties with me. What we needed was a dog. I really, really wanted a dog. My brother wanted a dog so he could train her to do tricks. My mum wanted a dog because she prefers them to humans. But my dad said no. We were watching Nationwide at the time. The theme tune was like a dirge to my hopes. We pleaded, but he declared he was going to have to put his foot down. The next day we got a dog. Flo lived for 18 years. Dad said every time he looked at Flo, it reminded him of the day he put his foot down. This is why we have referred to Dad as the patriarchy ever since. And this is why I have never put my foot down about anything, ever. Love and marriage. Mum always claimed she'd married Dad for his money and was just biding her time until she found out where he'd hidden it. 58 years later, he remains tight-lipped. Sometimes when I was walking Flo with my mum, a wedding car would pass and my mum would wave her arms and shout, "Don't do it, you fools," as it went by. My mum never wore her wedding ring, but that might have been because I put it where the bulb goes in the lamp in the living room, and when she switched the lamp on, it blew up. Monsters under the bed. I used to worry about the monsters under my bed a lot. Were they comfy enough? How could they sleep on a hard floor surrounded by crumbs and dust? Sometimes I slept under the bed so that they could have a turn on top. Words. School was a hideous shock. For one thing, it was full of children, and children are idiots. Loud idiots. It made me incredibly anxious. As I stepped into school, it was like being winded. I couldn't speak. I could barely breathe. People would say I was shy. Teachers would demand that I speak. But the words just wouldn't come. They were there, but they were out of my reach. Tooth fairy. I lost my first tooth biting into a toffee apple. I was alarmed, but my mum tried to cheer me up by telling me about the tooth fairy. This was unwise. I was troubled by the concept of some weird old fairy breaking into my house while I was asleep and then taking...